Okay, cattle chute. I'm staining it. So what I've used for stain, I use this in the barn, and what it is a mixture of this stuff here, which is a linseed paint. It's all organic and natural, mixed with boiled linseed oil. So between that and that, it makes a stain that is not harmful to animals. So I used it in the barn, in the stable barn, when we had horses here. So I'm using it on this cattle chute, but it actually helps treat and preserve the wood quite well as well. It lasts a long time, kind of keeps its color, so it works out pretty well. And again, that's boiled linseed oil with a all organic linseed paint. These are some of it as well. Linseed paint, and that's Verona brown, but you can see organic natural paint without chemicals. So it's all safe to use with animals. So I'm going to finish staining these. I probably have just enough, maybe. I don't want to have to open up another jug and stain and mix up the stain. So hopefully I have enough. And then I got to paint the hardware for this. This is for my cattle chute. Spray paint that stuff up so I can get it put all back together. See you in a bit. All right. Cattle chute. What I gotta do on the cattle chute, I gotta do something with this bar here because I broke it off of its stand because that piece was rusted welded to it. And this is what you use to change the width of the base if you're wanting to use it for calves or heifers or full size. That's what narrows the base in and out. And these cables, handles, I'm going to redo those. I bought some pulleys. So there's this one that raises the entrance chute, and then there's this one that locks the collar bar in. And this one I will more than likely need to fish through. I'll have to hook onto this and cut it here and then fish the new one through, pull the new one through. And then lastly is what I'm really debating, really debating, is if I want to paint this whole thing. That is what I'm really debating. What was this one? That one's for. I don't think that wasn't used for anything when I got it, because this collar bar, that date goes across here. That's heavy. And the collar bar goes across. I am perplexed. As to what this one would be for. Oh, I see. I see. This allows this to swing out. This allows this to swing out. I'm getting it. Alrighty. Alrighty then. I think I am going to paint this. I redid these boards that fit along the base of it here and the hardware that holds it. I think I'm going to probably just paint over what's on here. I'm not going to do much prep. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to make these cables. Because I got to figure out what paint I want to use. And I'm thinking I may just want to use a spray gun versus a rattle can. Because a rattle cans, I think that'd be a pain in the ass. Otherwise I can just shoot it with the gun. All this kind of stuff is a pain in the ass. This small round tubing to paint. What a pain. What a pain. What a pain. What a pain in the ass. In the ass. Old fencing I pulled down. Got to get it to the scrap yard so I can get it out of here. Some wood I've cut up. This is my lift, one of my scissor lifts. It runs, it does all that, except these cylinders leak. They leak down. So I'm almost of the mindset I'm gonna have to break into them. But now I notice that they're rusted too. That's not good. Son of a beehive. I have to attend to that because I still go down that far. I mean, this, it comes all the way down. It's just lifted up. I guess I should have had it completely collapsed or those things covered up. Dang. Oh well, I'll deal with that. Later time and date. Alright. Cattle chute, cables, wire. Let me go find my stuff. Cattle chute day, and I think I have come to the conclusion I am going to blast it a little bit. So I bought this to blast my flatbed utility trailer when I redid the decking and whatnot on it, and so I think I'm going to use it on the cattle chute. My start to blasting the cattle chute didn't start off too well. This hose is too short to reach the chute out there, and given that I've got this hose in the reel there I don't want to take it out and put it over there and it's still going to be, you know, tight. So, given that, I made a dash to the home desktop and picked up a 50-foot 3/8 hose, similar to that one. I did have a hose. It was a blue Goodyear hose, and I had it for the longest time out in the gooseneck, the horse trailer, the pop-out horse trailer there. But that blue rubber, it was a Goodyear hose, it wasn't cheap. It just crumbled. That blue rubber sheathing just was crumbling. I thought I was going to blame it on the mice, but it wasn't mice. It was the hose just crumbled, and that went by the trash. Looks like I had a visitor. He looked like he was a medium width. These black snakes, rat snakes. I don't mind them around because they eat rodents and things of that nature, but I have an agreement with them. I think they're getting it. If I see them, they're going down. If I don't see them, it's all good. So just don't let me see you, and we'll cohabitate. Kind of like don't ask, don't tell. Except this case, don't see, don't whack them. A lot of times I don't whack them. I just get them and throw them up over the fence out in the woods here somewhere or something, and tell them to carry on, go find some other joint to hang out. This is the hardware for the cattle chute that goes on the wood that I did, that I think I showed you, that I stained. Took it all off and stained it, and then I have stainless hardware for all of this. My little Harbor Freight blaster. It might be an Eastwood blaster. I'm not sure who I got this one from. Westwood. That might have came from Harbor, or I got it on sale somewhere else maybe. Alright. Let's get this hose put together, and then I can get back to blasting. Alright, I don't think you need to see me put a hose together. Oh, alrighty then. Dealing with sandblasting for the cattle chute. This was the dead man that came with my little not Eastwood, but Westward. Eastwood, Westward, same thing. Blaster I got. And so I've used it. I used it to blast my trailer, the flatbed, its frame. I wasn't gonna blast the cattle chute, but I decided to. Anywho, this is the dead man that came with it. Pretty cheap. I've had to replace those nozzles because they get eaten up. Show you here. These nozzles get eaten up along the bottom edge there, because when you go like that, it directs the sand or the blast median down, and it eats that rubber up. And then this is the little stop that the nozzle butts up against, as you can see right there. And you can see that it gets eaten up, and that just creates an exit path down at the bottom here for the blasting media. So Harbor Freight has a little kit with some nozzles and with these on it. This is about the only place I could find these little replacement fittings, backstops, if you will. But for this, you gotta kind of like just really do it quick. You can't you got to be quick, and when you're blasting away and stuff, anyway, that's the Deadman that came with it. Kind of an inexpensive functional unit. So I bought this eBay. I got a better deal on eBay. This is a Kennametal ceramic tip, same orifice size, 1/8 I think, but it's a ball valve. You know, obviously we all know what a ball valve is. So I'm thinking that this might work a little more efficiently. I don't know what the longevity of that will be, but it does say you either have to have it on or off. So if I'm to turn it off while blasting, I guess got to be quick about it, or else it's going to eat the shit out of stuff in there. So I'll be curious just to see how long that lasts. I don't know if it'd be easier to shut down here first. I don't know. It might just be easier to shut this handle down to stop the media. So I bought that one already put together, and that blaster. But what I did also, and it probably wound up costing me more money than just buying that thing, is I bought my own valve. These are fittings I had. My own valve, some fittings. And the one thing that I wasn't sure of is the fitting for the schnozzle. And I found one online, 19 bucks. And all it is a, you know, a thread adapter, or yeah, coupling. And the guy welded in this piece of straight pipe, tacked it in, and so this slides in and will seal up against it. So I'm going to put that together as well. I did buy an extra schnozzle, but this one has a little bit smaller of an orifice. I don't know, now looking at it, that might be too small, so I might have wasted money on that thing. Might want to buy the next size up from what I have, but we'll see. So I'm going to put this together real quick and go from there. There, that's my homemade one. I could have probably used a little bit bigger piece of hose than that, but I got a heavy duty fitting, so it's pretty thick, and so I think that hose does that just fine. Hold on here. Here we go. New schnozzle. I've got some medium in there. I'm not sure how much is in there. And I'm just trying to get this adjusted properly. So let's see. About right. Thing had been painted pretty dang good, man. I think this chute, I think it's like 80 years old. That does it. Alright, so now I am moving on to some 80 grit glass bead stuff, blast media, because I'm out of the 80 grit black oxide. So this actually might flow better. We'll see. And then I also dumped a little bit in here already. We'll test it out. See how that rolls. This is what I had. It's rolling along. It's doing all right. I used it on my trailer, so it's not like I've never used it, but you know, used it once, probably close to a year ago, more than 6 months ago, and I'm back at it again. So it's always kind of an experiment for me, you know, doing something again. It's like math stuff. If you don't use it, you lose it. So I'm testing my adjustments on it. I did remember that what I did remember is you don't want to open this stuff up full blast everything. So I'm trying to keep the PSI like 100, 110, less than 120, and I don't open these up all the way. I'll show you here in a second. Oh yeah. Bring it up just a tad. Do that. Since this is 80 grit, it's a little finer, and it's glass beads, so I think it's going to be a little smoother. Do that. Do like that. Let's see what happens here. There we go. Woo. That's kicking it. Turn it down a little bit. Maybe I need to turn it up more. Turn this a little bit more, keep it from getting plugged. Alright, let me get my stuff on and I'll bring you back. Let's just see. I'm just going to keep fiddling with it, but that's what you're going to have to do. Not that you're looking at this for educational purposes or entertainment for that matter. You just got to fiddle with your valves. The bottom is the feed, how much the one down on the bottom of the tank is how much median's, you know, getting fed down. This is your how much rate through your siphon, and of course this is your main air. You just got to fiddle, find out what's working, because it's going to change from media, grit, type of media, type of nozzle, all that kind of crap. So you just kind of have to deal with it. Yep, I'm going to get back at it here. How's that? How's that for a... I've got a face shield on, and then this old decrepit mask that came with this thing originally. So, hey, it works. Keeps crap off of me. There we go. Cattle chute. Sandblasted. Sandblasted. Alright. It's not perfect. I'm not trying to get it perfect, but I am going to rattle can some primer on it so it just doesn't get even more rusty. I didn't take it down to bare metal. You can see the difference here. That's not paint. That's kind of the bare metal. This is still kind of rusty and some of that old time primer crap, silver. But man, this would have taken forever to get back down to bare metal. And it's a freaking cattle chute that I'll be selling on the cheap, just trying to make it look presentable and nice and make sure it's functional. So next goes on some primer. That's paint. I only got one can of primer. Oh no, I thought this was all primer. Oh. Son of a bitch. I thought this bag was just full of primer. No bueno. No bueno. Alright, I gotta think about what I'm doing here now. Damn it. Alright, cattle chute. This was the bane of my existence today. This whole pipe was cracked around the base. So I cut half a sleeve and put it on there. But then, man, this thing would not open, or would not, the side would not open at all. And it was because that hinge down there was so full of rust and crap that this would not open. So I had to run a cut down it just to open it up, and that seemed to help it, because now it opens. But that was my existence today. But now, why is this not? God bless it. Come on, man. So I'm gonna go put this back around the corner, because I gotta put a cap over this, and then I can paint it. I was supposed to paint it today. Got it primed and with a flat black yesterday. So, but that was the bane of my existence today. So let me go get the Kubota and put it on. Stuff I had out dealing with this. I should have took a picture quick with just my cap and this done. So I took a piece of 2-inch 120 Dom pipe. It's about 2 3/4 inches long. Cut it in half, heated it up, flared it out more to a bigger radius, and covered my cut that I made for this hinge. So that all works. And this is all beefed up, tacked it up. So I'm gonna have a drink and then take this back and start painting on it, I guess. I'm not fixing new stuff. These turn from here and on the end, but I'm not fixing. That's opening up a whole can of worms to fix it, because this doesn't turn. I kind of have to do the same thing, just cut it, open it up. I don't know. And then weld it back on there. I don't know. Too much for me to think about. I don't know if you can tell that it's green now, not black. Hunter Green. Got that to finish up. Got to do this other side in front. See it a little bit better over here. Coming along. Just about there now. Pain in the ass. Used my Harbor Freight cheapy paint gun. I'll show you what I used. There's the paint gun I used. It's a Home Depot special. And the paint that I'm using is, hey, that right there.
Hello. Will scare you.
So that's what's getting used, or was used. And that's that. Cattle chute time. Let's see what I gotta get a few little doodads off of it. I gotta take this off, get these off of there. Gotta take this, get those off. Take that turnbuckle off, but get rid of that doohickey. And then I can put my new cable up. So I'll make some quick buzz work of those with my little cool little gizmo here. So that loud noise is, there's a highway right there, which used to be a part of this farm until they took eminent domain to put in a highway. So now I got a highway like right down there, runs along over there. So yep, it's loud. Might just be able to stretch that one out. So, what if I just trip over everything down here? Let's try that one more time. Not. I'll be back. Old is gone. New coming in. And then I have a new one for here that I made up. Goes down and over. And I need to make one that goes up and over, that can pull and release the side gate. And then it looks like there was one on the side gate that allows you to hold on to a rope from this side to allow that side gate to swing out. But that'll take a little bit longer. I'm not going to do that in wire. Actually, going to do that with like a piece of rope. Rope-a-dope. My gate here is having a little bit of a hard time as it comes down all the way. It starts to season here, and I'm thinking partly because this has got a slight little bend to it. I think it's also by the design that it's looser up top and it gets tighter as it comes down, but it's like you can't lift it once it sticks down, once those bottom legs there and there, once those legs get past down here, it gets pretty sketchy and sticky. Now it's not sitting level by all means, so I'm sure that's got it tweaked a bit, but I'm gonna steel wire brush some of the rust out on the poles and in the channels, give it a good spray of some silicone and see how that does. So here's the one cable. So that end will hook onto that loopy loop, and then you see these I repurposed. These were from my daughter's swing set from when she was, you know, real young. She's 25 now, so these have been around for a while, but anyway, yeah, I repurposed them. So yellow handle will be for this one, and then this one going across this will be a yellow handle. I'm thinking of running a cable through a piece of copper pipe like this, because it goes over and connects to that guy. So I'm thinking of running it, the cable through that copper pipe going across the top, keep it from rubbing and all that good stuff. It'd be kind of cool. I gotta try to get these off to get this cable, so I gotta connect my new cable to this one and run it through. I was trying to find something to encase this cable through the tube there, and that came out far enough to give it some property so it doesn't rub on there, but we'll see. I thought I had the solution, but it's actually too small a diameter. Might be big enough. Anyway, we'll see. I'll show you what I was talking about. But I'm gonna buff wire wheel these down and that, and see if that helps matters any. You don't need to see me wire wheeling. See what happens here. we go. Gonna work on this one down here a little bit. I'll probably angle that in a bit, the bottom rod, angle the end of it in so it's not flat and blunt, but it is, you can see it's tweaked and down this way. So check it out when it's on flat ground. Scuffed it up a bit, so I'm going to take it out of there, paint some stuff up, touch it up, and go from there. That's where the leg was rubbing. That's how they did it 80 years ago. That's how old this thing is. People we bought it from, their grandfather had it. So the guy was probably 35 years old, 40, and this was his grandfather's, and he said his grandfather had it as long as he knew. Anyway, let's work on this guy. All right, handle 2 is on. Right now that's just temporary. Again, don't mind the traffic, it's just what I live with. This is a little bit too long for the cable, because that bangs into the cutout that they did for, because that bangs into the cable for the cutout that they did. Gotta see what I'm looking at here. And this is a little too tall, so I'm gonna find something different for down here. This is what was on here. They just tack welded or welded in these U-joints, U-bolts for the saddles, cable saddles. And this one, I still got to make that one. I'm gonna run it through this piece of copper up and over the top. I was thinking about running the copper through here as well. It doesn't make any sense to do that. This makes sense because I don't want the cable rubbing on the machine. And gotta put the door on. Man, all this stuff is so freaking heavy. Got a few touch-ups to do. Like I said, gonna work on the feet of the gate over there, kind of grind an angle to them so maybe they don't bluntly hit the supports down there as much. Don't know if I'm gonna paint the wood on the bottom. I'm still debating that. And then this thing will be ready for sale, is I think what I'm gonna do with it. Sell it. I'll put it out there for like $1,300, maybe $1,500. Cattle chutes aren't cheap, and all the new ones are all hydraulic and fancy. And I mean, like the cheapest thing I saw out there was like $3,000 for kind of a calving chute. So I think this would be worth $1,500, $1,300. Put it out there for $15 and see what's up. I'll put some work into it to get it ready. So, good Lord. I think I'm at the racetrack. All right, so that's the chute update for today. Cattle chute. So I have got the wood on this side. The first slat just ran down there. Gives you an idea what it looks like. And I don't have the hinges tightened, or the hardware tightened, but so this is from this side. And basically, I guess if you know cattle chutes. All right, so I'm putting the wood on. This side I just have the wood set in there. This side, I have the wood and the hardware. Just don't have the hardware tightened up. Stainless 3/8 with kind of a flanged locking nut, if you will. And these are like a stainless carriage bolt. You can see I gotta tighten them up, but rounded head, so little calves and heifers don't get snaked on a bolt. So that's done, or getting done. I got these put on, got this cable made, and for right now I have this carabiner. It's stainless, but that doesn't fit, so I'm gonna see about getting that handle yanked down there. And this came from the same swing set, my daughter's swing set, as these handles came from. And I got the rope tied over yonder to the side of the gate because that swings open, and this clip here is not necessarily stainless, but this is a stainless fitting, and that's a yellow poly rope that I had, 3/8 inch yellow poly, so that'll be great for outdoors. And this, as you see, I did put a copper, and that pulls that over there. But I did put a copper tubing. I'm going to do something about how to keep it secured into there. But that keeps it from rubbing on top of the chute. Kind of looks cool too. The old copper kind of gives it an old-timey appeal, if you will. So I'm going to put the black hinge hardware on this side with the stainless material, and that's almost going to have this component wrapped up. And I do need to take the gate, the chute gate, over to the front of the shop because I got to weld some nuts on here. I had to grind them off because there's bolts, there's a neck collar, a collar for the necks that go up and down, so you can fit it for the size of the animal, and it slides up and down. It's a big T, double-legged T bar, but this is what you use bolts here to lock it in. And I had to cut those nuts off to get that out to begin with, so I got to take that around to the shop and weld some nuts onto there. And yeah, looking good. Tried to use stainless wherever I could, or that I had. It's like I didn't go out of my way to buy expensive stainless stuff. I did buy the pulleys. I had some cheaper pulleys around, but figured that gate, you don't want that malfunctioning. So that's that. Anyway, that's so far that I am. Let me go get my black hardware. There's the hardware. Carriage, stainless, 3/16. Alright, go get the pad or something to kneel on. Maybe just pick up my plywood and move it over here and get this side done. Alright, cattle chute. So you can see I'm tacking on some nuts here, because this is where the neck piece goes, to adjust for the neck height, whether it's a calf or a heifer or whatever the case is. So I got that one tacked on. This one's going on next to it. Put a couple more tacks, and I think that'll be that. Put a couple tacks on that one, and a couple more, and we'll be done. Well, then I got to repaint this part and put the paint the T-bar for it as well. Nuts are welded on. back on the cattle chute. Gotta mix some paint up. I need to paint that T. This thing was disgusting. I had to wire wheel it, get all the big rust off of it. So I use hope it doesn't rain. It's high humidity out, so that doesn't help things either. Rain go by. That's the primer I use. Looks up pretty well. I've used it in all kinds of stuff. So anyway, I gotta get some paint mixed up and get this thing sprayed before it rains even more. Alright. Hopefully to stay dry. And I can finish this up. One more sprinkle. On everything, so it's gonna happen. Kills me. Alright, mission accomplished. It's just the gate, it's going to get used and abused, but it's done. May wind up doing touch up when I bring the whole thing out here, but for now it's done. I got those nuts on, welded on. I'll find my hardware. 12-inch stainless. There you go. Well, if it hadn't threatened to rain, I would have taken more time at it, but that was totally out of the blue. Was not in the forecast. Alright. I'm calling it a day, people. Like I said, I'm not at 100%, so put my stuff away. I got tidied up on here what I wanted to get tidied up. That was the main thing. Like I said, when I bring the whole chute around up front here and put it all, assemble it, I may shoot some more on it, but for right now that accomplished what I needed. The next stock, I've got to steel wheel it a little bit, put some primer on it, and be done. This coating they put on it like decades ago certainly held up. That's like some NASA shit on there. Anyway, so we'll see this as it winds up differently. And there's my tools of destruction. I was doing some touch up on the gate, so here we go. See how I have never used that. I bought that like many years ago and never used it, so we'll find out how it goes. That did absolutely nothing. I'm having to use the wheel, but man, I'm telling you, this is like some heat shield stuff from NASA. This thing's like 70, 80 years old, not a lick of rust, and I think this is like really painted on. It's not so much rust. That's you can see the paint marks in it. So I think what they used is like what's on top of the roof, the metal roofs initially back in the day, and then they I think slathered it with this red rust type of paint. But anyway, it's I'm not getting the sandblaster out for this. I got the basket for the genie back in the back, and I gotta sandblast that thing, but this is coming along. All right, gonna spray it down with some parts cleaner, wipe it off, blow it off, and then shoot it with some self-etching primer. And after that, let that dry. I gotta go put some flags up because it's the 4th, and don't have to, but want to go put some flags up. And then we'll shoot it. I think I'm gonna paint it black. I don't think I'm gonna go green. I think I'll paint it black. Alright. That thing didn't do squat on the neck bar, the neck collar on the cattle chute. Might work well on wood and house, you know, stuff like that, but on that bar it did bupkis. And then for this wheel, better days. So I use Zorro, not, you know, 100%. I'm just saying I've wound up starting to use Zorro a bit because I get a lot of 20% off coupons, and so their initial prices are pretty high, so the 20% brings it down to be competitive. Yeah, but I just use it as another alternative source for things, so I find it to be useful, and been using it for a while. So I bought a bunch of wheels and stuff, I get into grooves with things and I start getting freakish and can't figure out where to stop, and so I just wind up buying all kinds of shit. But this is a so 20,000 RPM, so it's for a die grinder, pneumatic. It's Norton, but it's made in China. Some of what I got is made in USA. Some of the things, it's hard to find things in the USA. So this is a 3-inch, quarter-inch. I got like 3-inch, 3/4 inch. I got all kinds of stuff. But I'm gonna put this on that, and that's going in the trash. All right, so this is the final product of the cattle chute. As you can see, I painted the yellow handle for this. Got the pins in it. Everything is kind of functional. I guess I'm gonna make some new ones of these. But this is the cattle chute. Everything is rocking and rolling on it. Makes me feel good. Just gotta work it. Sits, get stagnant in there. Kind of cool. Squeezes. All right. Yes, need a longer pole or something for the top up there to pull this in. But this, that goes in, locks with that handle. Had a bar there, and this is what you use to lock it in. So gotta do something like that. So there we go, cattle chute. Done. Cattle chute done. Sell it.